Trayce, I can pretty safely say that most of the people asking you questions today have no earthly idea what it's like to defend somebody like Zach Edey, somebody who's 7'4". Can you take me into give me a window of what it's like, possession by possession, the physical toll it takes on you to defend him, and also what toll you take on him with the diversity of your own skill set? Uh, Kind of take me through that battle as it goes through the game.
Yeah, Zach, he's a great player, and obviously he's huge. He's really hard to defend, especially if he catches it super low on the block. So I think the biggest thing for me is trying to push him out. I felt like when we pushed him out and we got our double team there, that's when we had success against him. So just trying to push him out and not letting him catch it too deep to where he's able to make a quick move is probably your best bet, because if he catches it down there, it's whether or not he makes or misses it, there's really not much else that you can do. So,
Tom Brewer.
Trayce, last weekend you told Jeff Goodman that 4 years is enough and this is it. But then the first thing I saw on Twitter was from your little brother who said one more year. How 100% are you on this? And if so, what brought you to that decision? And is it changeable at all?
Taven, yeah, he's just being a little troll, just trying to be funny on Twitter. He kind of knows. He kind of knows that I'm leaving, but I'm glad that he's here, and I'll definitely be back to watch him play. But yeah, I'm still probably 100. Well, I am 100% committed on that, and as I said before, like I'll say the rest on senior night, but just got to take these last few games and take it all in. So still trying to play for something. So.
Trayce, you talked about Miller and how you wanted to see him kind of be more aggressive and shoot the ball every time he touches it. I was wondering if you think Trey has kind of entered that territory with his three-point numbers this season. Do you think he needs to be more aggressive from three and have opposing defenses kind of get some more respect?
Absolutely. I think all of our guys, whenever they're open, should just let it fly. Trey's shooting roughly 50% from three. And if he's open, he's burying them. And so when you got a guy like that, he's got to get shots. And then same with Miller. I felt like Miller was actually, even some shots, hand was kind of coming up and he just let it go. And he was hitting them. And that's what we need from them, just to be able to space the floor. So I'm never someone that's going to say don't shoot the ball. I want my teammates to always, if they feel like they're open, to let it fly, because we just need that. We need every guy just playing at a high level. And so, yeah, that's that.
Tyler?
Hey Trace, hope you're doing well. I guess what do you feel like has allowed you to take such a big step in play from last season? Was it some work you did over the summer, or just the mentality you play with? I guess what has just allowed you to play at such a high level this season?
I really just think that it was mostly just obviously knowing it's my last year, but I felt like I've always had the tools to do a lot of the things I did or I've done this year, but Coach Woodson's just allowed me to be able to do that. And like blocking shots, I've always had the ability to block shots. It's just that with Coach Miller, and that's not a knock on Coach Miller, but he always wanted me boxing out and with the help side guy. And so doing stuff of that nature, or taking the ball up the floor. And open gyms, throughout my 4 years, I've handled the ball, taken up the floor. It's just in game situations. In my first 2 years, they wanted me to rim run, pass to the guard rim run, which it's just the offense that they played. And I felt like when Coach Woodson came in, he really unlocked a lot parts of my game that were always there, but just didn't necessarily get recognized because I was trying to do a different role. So,
Jack?
Hey Trace, you've gone up against Zach Edey now in some capacity for 3 seasons. Just when you think about who he was as a freshman until now, just what's different about his game? How has he improved during that time?
Well, obviously his first 2 years he was splitting minutes with Travion, who's also a great player, and when you have two guys like that, it's tough. It's a tough cover, but just him this year. And just him being able to play the whole game at 7'4" is it's remarkable. He's really trained himself and conditioned himself to do so, and it's hard when he's out there because he's huge. He's a defensive focal point, but just having that motor running like he does, and just being able to go over both shoulders at 7'4", it's a really tough cover. And so It's props to him because he's done a great job with his body coming into this year.
Mike?
Yeah, Tracy, you've always had expectations, as a recruit, as a guy who started every game your entire career. But I'm curious, like how you've adapted to that. Obviously everybody knows the IU fan base is crazy, and how have you grown with that, having kind of that weight of the world on your shoulders to be able to thrive the way you have this year?
I just really just block out the noise. I feel like I've had my first bad game probably 10, 12, 13 games. And I mean, I still had 19, 7, and 5. So it's like, it's a bad game. Yeah, 7 turnovers is never okay. But at the same time, I just got to keep playing ball. And that's what I've been doing, especially during our little run that we've had for the last 2 months. I've kind of just blocked out everything and just relied on my teammates and just know that they're there for me. And so, and Coach Woodson always says there's no pressure. You are here to play basketball for a reason, and so you just got to go out and compete. And if you play as hard as you can, good things will happen, and that's what we've been doing. So,
Brad?
Trayce, I caught up with Coach Hahn down at Center Grove last week. Kind of a two-parter for you. What do you remember of your earliest interactions with him, and how did he help you navigate your high school career that kind of saw you on a growth trend, much like we've seen in your 4 years in Birmingham?
yeah, Coach Hahn, when I got there as a freshman, I remember talking with my dad. We didn't even know if I was going to play, and then I ended up starting my freshman year, and I think that really helped me a lot, just to be able to just get experience and just going in kind of like I was here. My Center Grove career was kind of the same as it is for my IU career when I came in. I mean, we were okay, but just throughout my 4 years, just being able to build and just become a leader for our team, it was huge. And I credit a lot to Coach Hahn because he was kind of the same way when I got to Center Grove. I was basically back to the basket, and then by my senior year, I was kind of doing the same thing that I do now, where I take the ball up the court and do stuff of that nature, and got a lot of accolades for that. But it's a lot of huge credit to Coach because he's a great coach. They're doing really well right now, and props to them. They got a great team. So,
Zion?
Trayce, it feels like this year you've been asked to switch a little bit more on those ball screens. Just for you personally, what's your mindset when you're out there trying to guard the perimeter when you get switched out onto a guard?
the biggest thing is you gotta jam into them a little bit. Just make sure that they keep their dribble alive, and then I don't think I did a good job last game, but it was more of the fact that I needed to be up higher. A lot of them were screens, and AJ was already going downhill, so I should have had a hand on my man, so to get him off and kind of make him establish his stopping, so he's not just going straight downhill. And so that's a part that I need to look at film and work on. But other than that, I think the biggest thing for me is trying to force them back into help, and if not, I feel like there's not a lot of guys that can really finish over me. And so, and my teammates know that. Coach Woody is kind of, when I'm on an island, he kind of wants me to just force a baseline and then just stay on my feet, obviously, if they're pump faking. If not, and go get it. And so I feel like I've done a pretty good job of that this year, but there's always room for improvement.
Last question, Alex Bozich.
Trayce, you were once a younger guy that, had your struggles in road games, and some of the guys, some of your teammates, obviously Malik, Tamar, you look at their road and home splits, it's obvious, it's pretty, stark when you look at the numbers. I'm curious, just from your perspective, a player's perspective, what's the biggest challenge when you go on the road as a young player to be able to play at a high level? And is there anything that those guys, going forward need to maybe key in on to kind of be able to produce at the same level on the road as they are at home?
I don't really think there's anything necessarily that, especially for Malik, I feel like Malik, sometimes he's a little out of control, and I don't mean that in a bad way. He gets happy, starts fouling a little bit too much, because even at the beginning of the year when we played at Xavier, he was playing down the stretch, and that was probably the most hostile environment that we played in this year. And so, and he played really well. And so I just think for him, he just can't get in his own head, and he just needs to go out there and play, because when he has a clear head and he's just playing, he's a great player. And then with Tamar, I think it's kind of the same. He just sometimes he gets a little sped up, tries to do a little bit too much, but other than that, if he's open, he's going to hit shots. I know that about Tamar. And yeah, I think that's just the biggest thing. Just playing under control and at your own pace. Don't let the game speed you up, or don't let the other team speed you up. Probably the biggest thing.
All right, thanks, Trayce. We'll see you guys Saturday.